Hello, Nick Jaafar, and this is episode 6 of the Realtors Roundtable. Today, we are here with two legends in the community, two people who are phenomenal at what they do and have revolutionized the barber game in Dearborn. Ali Al-Hashimi and Mr. Sobh.
Yes,
Guys,
sir.
thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us, brother.
So, when you think of a barber, you think of like similar to a realtor, a self-employed person who they just get by and they could be very good at what they do, but you don't really think of a big business. So one thing I am really intrigued by is businesses that are ran like very well, like well-oiled machines. So when you think of a barbershop, just like you think of a real estate agent, you think of, just people doing their job and getting by. But what you don't understand is, so I observe a lot. I don't talk all the time, but what I observed from Uppercuts, and you guys are partners there, and I know you guys work on everything together. What I observed at the Dearborn Heights location, and I would imagine it's a Dearborn location as well, it's really ran like a corporation. There is a floor manager. The floor manager has a set of orders and operations. He's got a checklist. That checklist is exactly what he goes off of. And every time I go there, it's always the same every time, which is the recipe of a good business. The guy's got 9 things he's got to check off. He's got to greet the customer. He's got to ask him the right question. If he says this, then this happens. If he says that, then that happens. So to be honest, I mean, the way you guys run your business, it's really unbelievable.
Appreciate it, man.
I don't think you guys get enough credit. People just think like, sure, you just throw a bunch of barbers in there and, sure, you got 15 chairs and they make X amount per chair and it runs itself. But that's not the operation. Am I right?
No, absolutely. Yeah, you mentioned earlier that you didn't think that, barbering probably could scale to the level that it is.
Correct.
And I think that really in any industry, if you put forth a good system and, treat it as a business with the same format as other successful businesses, no matter what the craft or the trade is, I think the potential to succeed is there no matter what. I think you could just plug and play any other business in it, but regardless, the common denominator is the system has to be elite and it cannot be altered whatsoever. I think we have a good system in place relative to other barbershops that have like a reputation for being just simple and like nobody there to greet you, nobody there to just like to clean up after you, things like that. We have a good system. We've got a lot of good guys in there that know what their job is, and it's to direct traffic, it's to make sure people walk in and know where they're supposed to be and how long their wait is, things like that. And I think that's what separates us from just the average barbershop is the system that we have in place, and it works. And we've been able to scale to multiple locations, and waiting on you to find us our 4th location so we can get to number 4.
We're working on it.
Yeah.
West Side, we're coming.
Let's go.
West Side, we're coming.
Yeah.
Can you give us your opinion on why? Because I haven't been to, even though it's like a staple in our community, in all seriousness, the East Dearborn one. I'm closer to Dearborn Heights, West Dearborn, so I see how you run.
Hold on, I don't mean to cut you off.
Yeah.
You said you've never been to East Dearborn Uppercuts?
But to come in here, I haven't. No.
Meeting's over, guys.
I need to go.
Just playing. Yeah, no, but it's definitely a staple in the East Dearborn. I mean, it's one of the. We've been there since 2016, but it's the pillar in the community. It's the neighborhood pit stop where everybody likes to huddle up and kind of get together. So yeah, you're slacking, brother. You owe us a trip.
I know. So are you saying on camera, I gotta make a detour for 1 or 2 cuts?
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
We'll be cool with that.
Well,
all right.
I'll see
listen,
you
As
on
long
the
as it
3rd
stays in the
week.
family.
Yeah.
if Sobh is down, then he could come to Uppercuts 1 and cut you there.
Okay.
Man, I haven't been there in
'Cause
like 4 years.
That used to be
as far as
that's-
cutting.
Yeah, that's where he used to work at. So
So question, how did you guys get to know each other, and how did you guys get into business with each other?
I had my first Uppercuts location open in 2014, and it was me. It was a female barber. Her name was Veronica. Shout out to her. And it was another barber, my friend Moose, that passed away. God rest his soul. Allah rahmah. And we had Barber Haas. Haas was our floor manager. And he was just training. He didn't even want to cut hair. He just came in to kind of like assist me and be my apprentice. And it just kind of happened that he just fell into his lap. But I heard a lot of buzz about this kid named Barber Sobh. and I kept hearing about him. And at the time, there weren't any young, talented barbers like around my age or in our area. So like hearing that there was a young guy cutting hair was like a big deal to me, because I only knew 2 other guys cutting hair, and God rest both of their souls, they're both passed away now. One of them was Curly, one of them was Moose. Literally did not know a single guy around my age that was cutting hair. And yeah, it was this guy. I don't know if he was cutting hair out of his basement, I think, and then he started working at a shop.
Just took one bad haircut,
Yeah,
to do all this.
my brother told me, you go to Barber Sobh, man. Barber Sobh's the GOAT. We went to school together. He started in his garage.
I would skip school to go to the barber shop. I was
Yeah.
like 14, 15. Just
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
figure it out,
So how did you guys get linked up?
We always had mutual friends.
Uh-huh.
We were from the same neighborhood, really. He started cutting hair. Obviously, he's a couple years older than me, so it was a thing like looking up to him, or really just seeing him do his thing, and it inspired me a bit, more than the barber that jacked me up, So
Yeah.
So seeing him do his thing, and he was really the youngest in charge, and he was the one cutting hair, and just really went from there.
Yeah, he saw the platform that we had, and he wanted to be on the winning team. And talking to him, I didn't know who he was at first, and then when he told me about him, I kept hearing his name buzzing, and finally I'm like, I want to meet this guy. I never reached out. I just kept doing my thing. But one day I got a phone call. It was from him. I think did you want a haircut? Was it? Or,
I think I wanted a haircut. Yeah.
He wanted the job with me, but he tried to play it like he wanted the haircut.
So I was cutting hair at a young
Your
age.
name was Mo, or you say your name was Barber Sobh?
No, I think I said my name was Mo. I wasn't too confident on the Barber Sobh back then. It's been I was 15. Man,
if you hit me with the Barber Sobh, I would be like, bro, get off my phone.
I was 15, so being that young and not being knowledgeable on the barber world, and just step by step and teaching yourself, So
yeah, I think he hit me up. He wanted to work. He wanted a haircut, and then he ended up working with us, and then he was with us for a couple of years. One of the highest grossing, best performing, and then opportunity came apart, and we did it together.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's really it's a great operation, man. It really is.
Man. Like he said, the system in play is we're very strong on that, and we implement it to the younger guys, the older guys. It's a system in play, and it's been working for a decade.
You mentioned something. You said one guy you mentioned. You said he was your apprentice, and I see you say the same thing to a lot of people. And I observe these guys and the younger guys, and the way they approach is always the same way. The way they listen, they observe, they say the right thing, they make you feel welcomed. It is a well-oiled machine. It really is.
Oh, yeah.
So what is this apprentice thing? What is the importance of it? And how many people go through this apprenticeship? How does it work?
Really, an apprenticeship with us entails of like a Big Brother program, where they come in and just, they're on paper requirement is to keep the shop clean, upkeep, the basics, making sure that, trash taken out at the end of the day, things like that. But their real purpose there is to be mentored and to be taught the craft. And so a lot of people come in wanting to strictly learn the craft, and those people don't last long with us, because they don't understand that it's an entire ecosystem and atmosphere that they have to develop. Their mentality has to adapt to ours, and we teach a lot more than just how to cut hair. We show them ethics. We teach them morals and integrity. We show them business strategies, how to market themselves, how to conduct yourself, at a place of business. A lot of these guys are younger and mature. They need somebody to kind of like hold their hand and walk them through that. So yeah, it's really a mentorship for a lot of the guys that we took under our wing, and a lot of them are now fully established, doing very well, and it's amazing to see how much they've how good they've gotten, and see the type of business they created for themselves. I'm proud of all of them. There's about anywhere between 10 to 15 people now, all came in looking for an opportunity. Most of them were like children of immigrants, just like we were. And they're here today, fully booked up. They're the guy that everybody talks about, and making over 6 figures a year. And in return for us, watching these guys grow and establish themselves and create jobs for other people, as big as they get, you know, if a small percentage of that comes back to the house, then, you know, that's just, you know, the way of the world. But
100%.
yeah, but at the end of the day, I mean, building good karma is really what I take pride in, and what we take pride in. And, yeah, it's something I would do over and over again.
Just like you guys, I believe in bringing in. So in the real estate world, you would think the most ideal thing is to bring someone who's doing a few deals, you know, older people, they have experience, and then bring them on and help them do more business on your team, which is an ideal situation. But when the team we were thinking of, the podcast team, we were thinking of who to bring on, I was thinking how much I relate to you guys, because there's nothing better than bringing on someone who is hungry, someone who's motivated, someone who's willing to learn, someone who's willing to listen. And I tell them, like you said, if you want to do everything right away, then it's not going to work.
Yeah.
You need patience. We were talking before, me and Sobh, and we were saying you need patience. So I tell them, people who join the team or people who join real estate, not even on my team, I tell them you got to look at your first 2 years of business as a master's program. You're going to learn how to talk to people. You're going to learn business strategy. You're going to learn networking. You're going to learn how to communicate. You're going to learn so much in these first 2 years that if you expect to make $1 million in your first 2 years, just forget it now. Yeah. So I say these 2 years, if you get out with less than a couple $100,000 in debt, it's the cheapest master's program in the country, and you're going to learn as much, if not more, than anyone else.
1,000%.
So similar to this apprenticeship, Sobh, how long do you guys keep this apprenticeship going? How long until they move up?
I say, you know, for experience, it just comes as you go. But our timing is like right around a year, because you understand the growth of not only just putting a client on your chair, building the relationship, and also giving him a good haircut. You know, there's different texture. There's so much you can get hit with. So right around a year working with us, and you'll be a badass barber.
But but the best thing about what you guys do in this apprenticeship, it's not only they learn how to cut hair.
Oh, no,
they
no.
learn a lot
I'm
more
speaking
than
on
that.
just cutting. So
Yeah.
I'm talking about a precise barber.
Uh-huh.
But what comes with that is the traits of learning how to talk to people, attract who you want to your chair.
Yes.
Bringing in a boatload of clientele. You know, just
Marketing yourself.
marketing
like you guys said
yourself.
earlier.
Oh, we're big on marketing.
Yeah.
Your network is your net worth. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
So I'm big on that. So like I like to bring people into my chair that I've never thought I would cut, you know? And
Right.
I learn a little bit from these guys every day. So
Right.
if I learn a little bit from each dude every day in different craft, different jobs, you know, I know a lot more than the average dudes, and I'm just cutting hair all day. So
For sure. But you're not just cutting hair all day. You guys
Exact-
are
no.
you guys are business people.
Yes, of
You guys are investors.
Yes.
You guys are entrepreneurs.
Yes,
And just by trade, you cut hair. You know?
secondhand nature now.
For sure.
Alhamdulillah, we're blessed.
When did you guys know both Barber Al, when you first started, and when you guys started as a group, when did you know you had something?
I mean, I knew I had something before we ever opened the barbershops, to be honest with you, just because, you know, my demand was greater than I was able to service.
Uh-huh.
And that's kind of what pushed me to open up my own place to begin with, is because of that fact. So, yeah, I mean, I knew I was doing something right, because, you know, my name was buzzing around town at such a young age. And, yeah, and then that's what led me to open up my first business, for sure.
So the answer to your question is mindset. You knew you guys were going to be this big before anyone could even imagine it.
Yeah, definitely. I think you kind of know where you're headed based on your performance beforehand. So, like, if you're jumping into a business for the first time, it can be very risky, for sure. But you know, whenever you're in the service industry, you kind of know what you're expecting to do when you first open, because you're used to. I mean, you know what your books are looking like, your demand is looking like, your brand is already built before you open up a business, usually.
For sure.
Yeah, unless you're just an investor coming in trying to open up a place and try to find barbers, things like that. But, you know, we are our own personal brand. So yeah, I think we knew we had something before we ever opened our first stores, for sure.
100%. I have a thing that's getting put in my office tomorrow, and it says vision. It's like a poster,
Yeah.
and it says vision, because when you think about it, you guys are like visionaries. Like, you see, if you're doing something that no one's ever done, you have the vision that no one else has. That's what separates you guys. And vision is very important. So before you even knew of any of this, obviously because no one else does it, you had the vision for it.
Mm-hmm.
You had the vision for it.
I agree.
So when did you know, when you guys were working together, or you got into the uppercuts, on the uppercuts team, and you guys partnered, that we have something here?
Honestly, after there was really no like time period.
Was that when you called him and said you wanted a haircut?
So I knew he was doing something right, you
Uh-huh.
know, and I was doing something right on the other side of town. But
Yeah.
when I came in, and you know, he really, his shop took me under his wing and helped made me a part of the team, and just seeing the flow of the shop, and me and him cutting back to back was cool. So, you know, you adjust. I learned to adjust. I can be put anywhere and I adjust. And he had a beautiful thing at the shop, and I wanted to be a part of it. And rest was history.
One thing you guys do very well is you guys are good partners with each other. So I can tell, like, when I talk about Sobh to Barber Al, when I talk to Barber Al about Sobh, it's all love. There's no, you guys are, what are some key
I can't stand this guy, for the record.
This guy's the worst.
What are some key components to keeping a good partnership? Because being partners in business is not easy. It ruins a lot of friendships.
Yeah.
It's not easy. What can you guys give to the public or someone watching this? What's important for a partnership?
With me personally, I have a number of partners in completely different industries, right? The main rule that I like to follow is, what is my relationship like with that person before I ever do business with them, right? And sometimes you meet someone that might be a little conservative, might not be as open with you on certain topics. You can tell that, like, you have to tiptoe around them when you say certain things. Maybe their body language kind of tells you, like, hey, you know, I'm not open to just, like, you know, like, you just don't feel very comfortable around them for certain topics, and that's a red flag for me right there.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm going into business with somebody, I need to know that I can speak to them without any restrictions, and I can talk about every single topic, no matter what it is, and we can at least have the conversation, right? Sometimes people are they're phony with their attentions, and then that's when you realize that later down the road is because you didn't do enough homework and due diligence, vesting your partner to begin with. So yeah, I think you have to have a great relationship with them, and then the next step is to make money with your friend.
Right.
But I mean, unless you're working with silent investors, someone that's going to be with you hand in hand, you gotta see eye to eye with.
I agree with you 100%. Partnership's all about being proactive and making sure you're on the same page. But one thing you said that's very important is you want to do your homework, do your due diligence. Like, make sure it works. If it doesn't work, that's fine. We can just, you go this way, I go this way. But one thing to add to what you said, someone told me the other day, I was watching something, and they said, one person asked someone else, who's your best friend? It's like, I mean, it's kind of like a childish question. Like, he said, okay, who do you not have to change or have a filter with when you're around them? And that's a great idea. That's a great way to look at a business partner, and you hit it right on the head.
Yeah.
If you have to be careful what you say, or don't say that, or you're not open with each other, and you can't be your genuine self, that's not a good partner.
For sure.
That's not a person you want to do business with.
I recently got into a business with a friend, and he was a very good friend of mine, actually, right? And it's funny because I only got into business with him because the relationship that we had. You know, I really liked his personality. I liked his authenticity, and I liked who he was as a person. I knew I wanted to make money with this person. I wanted to do business with him. So I was talking to one of my other guys, and I told him, like, listen, you know, as adults, you know, as a kid, you kind of have a whole lot of friends, and you know, the more you grow, the more you tend to drift away from those people because of life, kind of, you know, and all of its obligations and your requirements. So it's really hard to keep relationships with the people you love, no matter how amazing those people might be. And I think the best way to keep that relationship is to have something in common with them. And when it's a business, then it's just a reason for me to call you every day, you know. And my best businesses are the ones where I'm really good friends with my partners, and I think that's just a formula you gotta plug and play with any business.
100%. If you want to be partners with someone, you have to be able to talk to them every day. Sure. You don't want to be able to get annoyed, you know? Yeah. You want to have that open dialogue. I agree with you 100%. So what can you say about what's important and why are you guys such good partners?
One thing I look for in a partner is how they treat people, how they are, you know, in the people's eyes, and what you've done and who you became, you know? So when I've never had a biological older brother, so for me to look up to him as an older brother and worked with him, and we split money before, and I've never had a problem with that. That's my biggest concern, you know.
100%.
So
100%.
Pretty much, I'm big on that.
That's a very good point,
honestly.
And the point where you said that you see how they treat people.
Oh,
sometimes I've heard of CEOs. They're choosing between two people. They take them both out to eat, and they see how each of them treat the waiter. If the person treats the waiter good, and the other person treats the waiter bad.
Yeah, I'm big on that.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. That tells a lot about a person. I think that might have been Henry Ford who did that.
Wow.
They took two people out to eat. One person got hired, one person didn't, and they asked why.
Amazing.
They said, we watched how you treated the waiter. You watched how you treated the waiter.
It's a personality trait for sure.
100%. 100%.
Consider, absolutely.
100%.
Yes, sir.
It's all about, what you do for people who could do nothing for you. So we talked about business. We talked about partnership, how you guys got started. I want you guys to go back. And how were you guys younger? Like, how was Barber Al and how was Barber Sobh when you guys were younger?
Man, I was a troublemaker growing up.
Okay.
I was a troublemaker, came here, son of immigrants, and I have nothing to my name.
Were you born here?
I was born in Phoenix, Arizona.
Really?
I was.
Okay. How old were you when you came here?
My boy had the heat when he was born.
Yeah,
see that?
My family came here as refugees from Saudi Arabia.
Really?
Yeah, there was the war going on in Iraq and America at the time, and we came here as refugees. We got to Phoenix, Arizona, and I was born in Phoenix.
How long did you stay in Phoenix?
Not too long. I was there for a couple of years.
Okay.
Yeah, a couple of years, and then we kind of hopped around. We went to New York after that.
Uh-huh.
And we left New York. We went to we heard about Dearborn, and it being the land that it is.
Yeah.
And when my parents came here, my mom fell in love with the Middle Eastern community, and we parked it here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How old were you when you left the Middle East?
I was born here.
Oh, you were born in Phoenix.
I was born in Phoenix.
Okay.
My parents left the Middle East.
Okay, got it.
Yes.
Got it.
Yes.
Okay, so you came to Dearborn.
Came to Dearborn, yeah. My father was he was a hardworking man. He had a law degree back home.
Really?
Yeah, and he couldn't use that here, obviously. So he worked as a regular cashier. He had a cashier job.
Okay.
And it got us by. He worked hard. He, we lived paycheck to paycheck. And, looking back at it, we kind of had a very rough upbringing.
Yeah.
But and it didn't feel that way. My parents worked really hard to make sure we didn't need anything. And, yeah.
Yeah. So when did you know you wanted to get into business? At what age did you feel that?
Well, I knew that I wanted to be successful.
Uh-huh.
And I knew I wanted to put my family and myself in a position to succeed, right? I wanted to create a better life for me and everyone around me. And at the time, school was not an option for me just because we had bills that were due now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I couldn't go to school. But my brother and I worked endlessly so that our sisters could go to school. And I'm proud to say one of my sisters is a dentist. She just graduated. My other sister's a teacher at Fordson with her master's, and my younger sister is in school for criminal justice, and she just graduated with a degree. Those are my biggest achievements because I know that I was able to create that comfort for my family to go and do that.
So you guys are all educated. So you have a sister who is a dentist.
I didn't go to school.
But you're all educated.
Oh,
you have one who's went to dental school, one who got their master's, and you went to school we went to, the School of Hard Knocks, the School of Life.
Absolutely.
Working at a young age, learning. How old were you when you started running your own business?
I was 19 years old.
19.
Yep.
So, when I got out of high school,
yeah,
I kind of went to college for like 2 months or like 2 semesters.
Yeah.
I really wasn't doing well at all. And I just knew like it really wasn't for me, you know. So I ended up working, my family owned a restaurant, and I started working at Lava.
What restaurant was it? Oh, Lava?
The Lava Lounge.
What, that's your family?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I was like 20. I would
Really?
work during the week.
Yeah.
Moby would work during the weekends because
Yep.
he would be up in Central Michigan. So throughout the week, I was 19, 20, and 21 years old. I was dealing with payroll. I was dealing with scheduling. I was dealing with the city. I was dealing with the county. I was dealing with taxes. I was dealing with orders. I was dealing with, on Saturday night, we had 30 employees. So did I go to law school? No. Did I go to Harvard? No. But
No.
I feel like, just like you guys, I was educated as well, you know, but the world teaches you just as much as school sometimes.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I mean, the way the system is set up now, school almost feels like a scam, to be honest with you. You know, you gain so much by going to school for sure, but the way it's set up with the debt and the hiring rate and the career employment rate and all of that, it's just not designed correctly at all. So yeah, I mean, are you going to school and getting knowledge? Absolutely. You know, that's priceless. But at the end of the day, those bills do got to get paid back, and if you're not employed, it sounds like a recipe for failure.
100%. I don't believe in going to school and just being book smart. I think you have to be book smart, and you have to have some street smarts. You have to understand that, sure, you went to school, you lived on your own if you went away,
Cool.
and you learned how to do all that, but you also need to, be able to be self-sufficient. Like, you have a lot of debt. When our age got out of school, I think we're a little older than you. When we got out of school and you don't go to college, that was like a few years where that's really scary.
Yeah,
Like, people talk to you, you know, like, hey, man, I think you should go to school. I don't know what you're doing. Like, man, like, relax. Like, you go to school. You go to school. You're $60,000 in debt. Go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we inherently knew we would be fine either way as long as you have that self-drive.
Yeah, I think it's more apparent today than it's ever been that school is an option, but not the only option.
100%.
I think the one thing that you always have to keep in mind is if you're electing to not go to school, it's not an easier route. And that's something you really have to put in your head when you're making that decision, because
It's a great point.
I mean, in my opinion, I did like 2 semesters.
Yeah, me too. So we're like, yeah.
2 semesters,
Same.
right? Henry Ford.
Me
Back
too.
when it was community college.
Yeah, me too.
So
I went.
you know, I think I don't know. I don't know if I'm entitled to an opinion as a student, but I could, you know, I experienced a little bit of it.
How was it? How were your grades?
Terrible.
Me too.
Mm.
Yeah, and
So
it's not
you're
because
entitled of an opinion.
I never applied myself. You know, so it wasn't for me. I knew that,
Right.
But no, what the opinion I was trying to make was the saying I was trying to make it was that it's for me it was so much harder, right? Not going to school, because you don't have a blueprint to follow, and that's the trickiest part of life. And I mean, going to school is like almost like the surefire way to say, you know what, I'm doing something correct in my life.
100%.
But yeah, being your own business owner, I think that you have to keep in mind that you're in for a roller coaster ride, and it's going to be a lot of work. And if the reason why you're not going to school is because school is hard, then it's hard every direction.
100%.
Yeah, you have to put in the work, no matter which path you choose.
100%. And the fact that it's hard is fine as long as you learn from every single thing.
Yes.
Like, we had Michael Phillips on the podcast, and he was saying how every single thing is something you can learn from, no matter what it is. No matter what it is.
Why did I think you said Michael Phelps for a second?
Michael Phillips, they're related.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
That was nice.
I don't know who Michael Phillips is. I haven't had the pleasure of meeting the guy.
Michael Phillips is a great guy. He's a broker here.
I'm sure he is, especially if you had him on here. But
He's a great guy.
he's a broker.
Yeah,
okay.
he's the owner.
Yeah.
So
Talk to him.
tell us how you were when you were younger, because now I see you and you're a mentor to all these kids, and they look up to you, and sometimes they don't even say anything. They just come and they observe you. And that says a lot. And these kids are not, they're disciplined because they're at work every day. And so from going back, what can you say, like, how were you younger?
Man,
in
I
school?
was the jokester. I was the class clown.
I went Mr. Sarcastic.
See, I probably would have
That's
won it,
never
but
been-
you know, I'm
I
a
don't
lot
see it.
younger than you.
Huh?
But
I don't see it.
one thing is it was hard gaining clientele because, like I said, being the jokester, being the funny guy, and telling someone to sit down at the age of 15 and hand over your hair, you know, to me, like it's a big thing.
Yeah.
So I had to adjust, walking into the barber shop or being in school. So going from being the jokester to being the guy that's cutting your hair and having a serious, civilized conversation with
Responsible
you.
for your image, right?
Yeah,
for sure.
it was tough. But I adjusted. Like I said, I'm good at adjusting, and I look at my surroundings and just got to it. But one thing about school is I knew it wasn't for me at the age of 15. Why I say that is because I'm good with hands-on, but when you're trying to like sit me down for a full hour and just ramble on a whole bunch of nonsense, even if I need to know,
Right.
I'm just big on, put it in front of me and I'll work on it. I'll figure it out. So one thing I try to tell the kids is if you don't want to go to school, just learn a craft or a skill that it's a necessity, No matter what goes on in the world, I'm going to need you to do this. I'm going to need you to do that. And once you get so good at that craft, you can charge what you want to charge. Back then, 10 years ago, if I told you I wanted to be a barber, the average rate or the annual rate a barber was getting was about 30 to 40K a year.
Yeah.
Fast forward a decade later, it's inevitable what you could be making. But like I said, once you get so good at something, you can charge a premium or a price, or
You get what you pay for.
you get what you pay for. So I'm big on that. So
I asked you earlier, what's one thing that a mentor taught you, and you told me what did you say?
I said just get busy and stay at work.
Just get
stay at
busy and
work.
stay at work. So like you said, if you don't want to go to school, and by the way, school, for a lot of people, it's great.
School's
As long as
amazing,
you have a
man.
plan, it's great. We're not saying,
It's a system.
I'm not saying like don't go to school. I'm not saying that. But what we're
Come see
saying
me.
is it's okay. Yeah, just go see these guys. But it's okay if you say, hey, it's not working for me, but you have to go do something.
You got to do
Don't
something.
just sit
You
there
gotta
and
get
feel
good
bad
at
for
something.
yourself and
True.
be a couch potato. You got to do something and go to work and stay at work.
You were talking about schools. I don't know if I should, pin drop something, but
Oh, you're talking about the barber school?
yeah, we got a school coming, but it's hands on.
What can you tell us about that?
Do the rest.
The barber school is on the way. It should be. We want to start enrollment in the fall.
Okay.
It's basically what we're doing in a mentorship, but scaling it to a much larger level. And this is not only teaching you the craft, but we're also sending you directly to a state board so you can take your exams and get licensed.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's in the works right now. Yeah, because listen, the demand for cutting hair today is more than it's ever been.
The beauty industry's been booming, so it's inevitable where it's heading.
I had a client who seen my lineup and he told me, "Man, you get a haircut every what do you say? Every 3 weeks?" Oh my God! If I get a haircut every 3 weeks, I haven't shaved myself in like 12 years. I said every 3 weeks. No, and
Yeah.
I go every
See
week.
me every week.
What? You go every? No. So
Yeah.
you're right. It is in demand for sure. It's
Yeah.
become a custom. It's become the new thing.
Yes.
What do you? I get messages, social media, literally like every week. Hi, I want to learn how to cut hair, or hi, my son wants to learn how to cut hair, or hi, I'm a teacher at a neighborhood school, and my students are cutting hair in the bathroom.
That is so funny.
Yeah, we've got that.
That is crazy.
It's insane.
That is
The
crazy.
demand is through the roof. I feel like everybody knows a neighborhood barber. Today, there's more kids cutting hair in their basements and garages than ever. And as flattering as that is to the industry and the people that are in it, I think the cons are they're not being put in a place where they can be taught properly. They're endangering public health by doing it in these places. And I think, look, I'm glad that the motivation is there, the want is there, but the next step is putting you in a school where you can learn the steps correctly and get certified. So really, the purpose of the school is to bridge the gap between basement barbers and licensed barbers. And I think once we're majority of the communities at the licensed barber side, then we'll be in a very good place.
So you said that people can go to your school and then go to the state and get licensed. What did they do before?
So it's a couple fun facts for you. Barbering is 1,800 hours, right?
Wow.
It's a year and a half.
Wow.
There's more schooling to be a barber than there is to
Sorry
be
to
a
cut you
police
off.
officer.
Is that where this mentorship comes in? or no apprenticeship or no? Not yet.
Apprenticeship really is basically just like I said, like a Big Brother program.
Okay.
Right. So you're learning how to cut hair, yes, but the school is what gets you properly licensed, certified, right? And yeah, obviously you know when you have a school, you have instructors. You're allowed 30 students per instructor. You can do 60 per course, so then you can end up doing 120 per semester. And you can not like take the same formula that we're doing, but apply it to on a much larger scale. And the end result would be you'd get your legal hours and obtain your Michigan State barber license.
That's amazing.
So that's where the beauty of that comes in, because it's in such a demand. It's such a necessity right now. There's only there was only I think 3 barber schools in the state of Michigan, and there's more barbers than there's ever been in the past decade. So there's definitely a void to fill. Yeah, and that's what we plan to do.
Well, people don't know that. I had no idea.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting facts about that.
Yeah. So you said fall?
Chalna.
Yeah.
Chalna. That's awesome. Where are the other barber schools currently?
The one that's the most notorious is on the east side of Detroit. It's called the Michigan Barber School. I know some of the instructors there, great people.
Mm-hmm.
But it is in a bad area.
Okay.
Right, and a lot of the kids in this community I don't see going to that area at all.
Yeah.
Right. It's not the best area. So, like what we're gonna do is put it in a much safer area where parents can feel comfortable sending their kids there and all that. So that's the goal.
Okay.
It's a bit different when you set a trend or you were that basement barber that ended up becoming the celebrity barber of the city, of the state, and you get certified, you open up multiple barbershops, and you open up a school. I mean, it's a new wave, so it's like I do want to learn.
As good as it is for them, it's also good for you, the feeling of giving back. Like, well, you guys are going to change lives. Earlier you said that, there's 10, 15 people who went through this apprenticeship.
Yeah.
Like, someone might watch this and say 10, 15 people, that's a lot. But that's like 10, 15 lives. That's 10, 15 families. Okay. Like all those families times 15. That's a lot, you know?
So, I had a real moment to self-reflect just literally a few months ago. And we took a look at how many people we employ and how many lives we've changed because of that, right? So if you take a look at the average person that we've helped, put in a position to take care of their loved ones, even if that's like an average of 3 people per household, because this person is instantly the breadwinner now, right? So if you're providing for 3 people on average, right, with 35 barbers, you're helping over 100 people.
It's crazy.
So I think that's the most astonishing part about it is how many lives you're able to impact and affect. And I honestly I did not predict it would get to that level, but I mean we only want to go up from here. But like again, when you stop and smell the roses and realize the things that you were able to achieve and create, I think it's something worth noting and patting yourself on the back for sure.
It is. It really is. One thing about you guys aren't just barbers, and I mentioned it earlier. You guys are entrepreneurs, investors, and business people. So and I see me being in real estate, every time I'm there, someone comes up to me, at least one person asks me about a property. Like one guy showed me one time a bathroom. Asked me
someone showed you I remember that vividly.
He showed me a living room.
Someone
how much
what
happened?
He showed me a living room. He told me, how much you think this house is worth?
He showed him a living room. He told him, bro.
I said $3 million. I don't know. I said, where's the house? But so I can tell they see you guys, and you guys are investing, and you guys are in different businesses, and they ask, should I do this? Should I get a loan? I'm making money. Should I pay cash? So you guys have an environment. It's a culture.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a culture. So my first question is that going to be implemented in the barber school about what you do with your money when you get it?
Oh, 1,000%. Yeah, so the school is, like I said, the same formula that we've already been applying. It's kind of like a mentorship program. And, we not only plan to teach the necessary hours that are required for you to get your license, but some of the criteria is going to be business strategies, marketing, how to do well as a barber, how to compete in today's industry, right? Because the talent today is it's so much more than what you can learn at just like a regular barber school. And like I think barbers' favorite argument is, yeah, well, I'm not licensed, but I can do laps around a licensed barber fresh out of barber school, right? Because usually, you know, when you do get out of barber school, you don't really know how to do like edgy fades and taper, things like that. It's usually like basic haircuts, and like the you know, the cliche is all go work at Lady Jane's or whatever until you learn how to, you know, keep up with like, you know, the some of the more advanced barbers. But what we plan to do is get you, you know, set that standard from the beginning. Like as soon as you graduate, you're going to be able to work at Uppercuts Barbershop or another competing barbershop where the talent is expected, and there won't be any downtime for you to have to transition into that.
That's awesome. That's awesome. What can you guys give the public about some advice on why you guys invest and buy property, or, you know, why it's important to do that when you make money as a businessman, a barber, whatever you're doing?
So receiving money and making money, you know, you got to understand that there could be a day where it's going to slow down, or it might not come to where you once were. So like, you want to look into the future and see, or like you said, vision something and plan on owning something that could pay you off while you don't have to work. The dream is to grow up and sit back. You know, you choose what you want to do on your free time. So you want to have property investments. You want to have something that pays you to where you could be comfy. You know, you want to wake up one day and not be forced to go to work. So while you're making all that money, invest it and make sure that ROI is coming back quick.
100%. I always tell people, if you're making, if I'm a barber and I made $100,000 5 years in a row, that's $500,000. Where is it? In 5 years, where is it? What do you have to show for it?
I love it.
You're not going to save all the money, obviously, but people don't save. So they'll go through these periods where they make money. And in my opinion, everyone goes through those periods where they make a decent amount of money. And you either have one or two. You either have a story on how at that certain point you were making a lot of money, or you have something to show for it. So, you know.
So Nick, I charge about anywhere between $100 to $200 for a haircut, right? And make that comfortably, right? Booked up. Yeah. To be honest with you.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't take a mathematician to realize that
it's a lot of money.
$30,000 a month easily.
Yeah.
Right. One thing that like I learned over the past couple of years is that I don't want to sell my time for money. I don't care if it's $100. I don't care if it's $500. And I honest to God, do not care if it's $1,000 an hour. I do not want to sell my time for money. Right.
100%.
So, you know, once you realize that, you know, your time is priceless, and you know, you value your time accordingly, that's when you start to realize, you know what, I need to invest so I can become financially free.
100%.
And I'm glad I'm talking to a realtor like yourself, because I just got into the real estate industry not too long ago. I've got over 10 doors now.
That's awesome.
And you know, can I be making more money cutting hair? Yes, but you know, I'm cutting hair between 10 to 15 hours a week now, and it's because all my other time is devoted to investing. I know that I don't want to sell my time for money, and I know real estate is one of the easiest ways to be financially free. But
you got to be patient with it. A lot of people think, I can make more money doing this. Yeah, but when you're 50, 60, 70, 80, do you want to?
Absolutely.
How old are you?
I am 29.
So I'm 29 too. So you have 10 doors at 29. The point is not to live off of 10 doors. The point is to, every time you have a good month or a good year or a good quarter, put the money somewhere, park it. Even if you don't make money on day one.
Oh, no, we're not parking nothing, brother. We're buying more doors.
We move it.
Yeah, 100%. However, there's multiple ways to do it. But the point is, like Sobh said, you want to be able one day to not want to go to work. You want to go on a cruise for a month. You want to go overseas for 2 months and not have to work.
Absolutely.
So personally, I don't think I'll ever retire from real estate. I love it. If it was for free, I'd do it for free. So with that being said, I think you're late to your appointment. With that being said, I want to be in a position one day where I don't have to work. I want to, but what if I don't want to for a month or two? I want to have that. So the point is, start young, or as young as possible, even if you're older. Start investing and then over time it grows, it grows, it grows, you know, and you own more and you don't have to work, and that's financially free, where you're not selling your time.
Absolutely. Nick, I'm still upset with you that you couldn't get Canton landed, bro.
I mean, since we're here and we have camera and we have a witness, I'm so happy someone else is with us. You want to tell the story to Sobh on what happened?
I'd like to actually tell the story. Let's go ahead and tell the story then.
Please.
Okay.
All right. Oh, I'm telling the story? Okay, sure.
Well, let me
found a location.
Let me start the story in the beginning. So first things first.
Yeah.
Mo on my team, great guy. Mo's the man.
I love Mo. He's a nice guy.
When I heard Barber Al's going, I said, I hope they're closed. I hope they're closed, because I mean,
Let me brief people listening on what you're talking about. So basically, we found a location in Canton for uppercuts that we wanted to take, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is with someone that I was negotiating with, you know, plenty of times in the past as well. But it finally hits the market, and then his realtor Mo hits me up and tells me about it, right? So I told him, let's do it. So he tells me what the price is. We come to an agreement, and I go look at the place. Then what happens, Nick?
we get in there and I'm thinking, in my head, I'm thinking, please don't notice them. Please don't notice them. Please don't notice them. And there's two barbers, and they both turned around, and they looked at him. And I said, oh, they noticed them.
So basically, we had a deal wrapped up before we got there. And then we got there, they realized who I was. And they realized, like, oh, you know what? This place might be worth a lot more than what it really is. And the deal didn't end up landing, you know. And so that's what our guess is. But at the end of the day, we don't know what caused the deal to fall through. But
it's a little speed bump.
Yeah, it's a little speed bump. So I look at every hiccup or every challenge. So I don't say problem. I like to say challenge, because problems are scary, challenges are exciting. What did we learn from that challenge?
We're not sending Al
Keep it
anywhere to a barber shop.
keep it confidential. Keep it confidential.
We'll send someone with you, Nick.
I think that
record everything.
I think that might be the best one. You know, keep it confidential.
True.
I'll wear a shirt that says barber. You know, they think I'm the barber. They really won't know me.
Give you a
Because
shirt.
you walk into a barber shop, it's real bad.
Not good, man.
that's Barber Nick.
Barber Nick. That's it. Would you guys hire me?
I would have to see how you would cut one of your buddies before I would put one of my guys
I
on the
think you'd be
chair.
a great consultant.
I'm a consultant.
Yeah, so
that's it.
we'll bring you in. You know, you do the consulting,
Uh-huh.
and then you just tell me what the guy wants, and I jump in and I just finish it.
That's a good idea. Teamwork makes the dream work. Before we end, you guys are two people in the community that a lot of people look up to clearly. So I want to ask you guys, Sobh, Al, what is one word of advice you'd like to give to someone who might be watching this, whether they're younger or older?
If I was to just give them one, just find what you like, obviously, and just get as busy as you could.
Work.
Just
Stay
like
at work.
that one dude that told me stay at work, man. Because when you're busy, you don't got time to, waste or.
If I had a word of advice, when we're not being specific as to what it is for, then I would say, when it comes to work, maybe instead of trying to tackle multiple things at once, like I was guilty of, and not end up completing any of those tasks, focus on one thing at a time, get the job completed, and then move on to the next thing, right? And that's what I struggled with. You know, I had the issue where I jump into one thing and I jump into 7 other things at the same time, and I end up giving a lesser version of me to all of them. Focus on one, achieve it, complete it, knock it out the ballpark, and then move on to the next thing.
100%. A lot of
said it
people have, I couldn't have either. A lot of people have a misconception that, they see on Instagram or TikTok or Twitter or whatever, that everybody who's successful has 7 streams of income. But they have one. If you look at the successful people like yourselves, you have one source of income. You have one thing that you master. Then through that vehicle of creating income, you then branch off into other things where if you have the time, you do it, but most likely you just invest and you have a little here, a little here, a little here. So I agree with you 100%. A jack of all trades is a master of none.
Absolutely.
And focusing on one thing is very important. To your point, Sobh, staying at work, and you said when we were talking earlier, it's very important to be at work so you appreciate your time off. When you don't have a lot going on, then, and let's say you didn't go to school or you didn't do much, you don't appreciate the time off as much. So go to work, stay at work, work hard, and stick to what you know, and then let that branch off into other success, I think is two great things to end the conversation with. I thank you both. It was a pleasure having you guys.
The pleasure was ours, brother. I'm happy to be here. This was a great podcast. Yeah, we had a great time.
Sounds good. Sounds good. So we're going to arrange where I go to the East Dearborn uppercut.
Yeah, so
We'll set that up for next week.
we're gonna have to set up for your next haircut.
All right, sounds good.
We can get sold over there.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Appreciate you guys.
Thanks a lot, Nick.
Thank you.
You're the man.
Thank you. You too. Thank you for tuning in to episode 6 of the Realtors Roundtable. If you liked it, please like it and subscribe. If you didn't like it, at least subscribe. Thank you so much. We'll see you on the next one.